If anybody's looking for a frog, I swallowed it. Hello everybody, how's it going? It's Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff. If you're used to listening and not watching, I promise that it's me. My voice just sounds a little froggy. I got hit with another cold, and so this is the result. Hence the reason this is coming to you on Thursday rather than Wednesday like I had promised. Yesterday I was just not feeling good. So I figured I'd wait until today, hope that spirits are up and I can laugh at myself at how strange I sound. It sounds like I'm talking through my nose, which is ironic because I can't breathe through my nose. Anyway, we're just going to deal with it. I've got hot tea here that I will be sipping to try to hold on to my voice because I'm going to try to do at least 2, if not 3 videos today. Probably a bad idea considering, voice, but whatever. So today, by the way, it's Thursday, September the 15th of 2016. I don't think I mentioned the date last week, but trying to keep that going. And this is going to be a short one. I was going to do a tag here at the end, but since I am trying to do a couple extra videos today to try to save my voice as much as possible, I must have pasta on the brain. As much as possible, I've decided to forego the tag, at least for today. More on this later, but I'm going to try and see if I can't set up my stitchy spot so that I can record me stitching while I do a tag. And I'm going to try to do that this weekend. But before I get into the stitchy bits, kind of just want to do like my little week in review. It's only been a few days, and it can pretty much be summed up in 2 things. Virginia Tech football, we lost. Let me rephrase that. We didn't lose, but we didn't win. I don't know if that makes sense. I'll try to explain a little bit better. And then I got sick. Those are the 2 things that have happened in the last 5 days. So, as I was talking to you guys last week, we were getting ready to head down to Bristol, Tennessee for the Virginia Tech Tennessee Volunteers Battle at Bristol. And one thing I didn't know about Bristol is that the state line between Virginia and Tennessee goes through the town of Bristol. So there's a Bristol, Virginia, smack dab next to Bristol, Tennessee. So we're sitting at this intersection and I'm like, that's the state line, that intersection right there. So the stoplight turns green, we go through and I'm like, well, we're in Tennessee now. And we were still in the same town. I thought that was really cool. I don't know if this happens, but I've never seen anything like that where the state line runs right through a town. I knew that Bristol, Virginia was down in Southwest Virginia, but I had no idea that it was right there. So that was kind of cool. So the game happened. We thought that for sure. So our charter bus left the Richmond area around, I want to say 9:30, something like that. I thought for sure that we weren't going to get to the Motor Speedway until like 5, 6 o'clock. Well, we ended up getting there at 3 and 3:30. And so we had a bunch of tailgate time. It was approximately 145 degrees. Okay, it wasn't that bad, but it was hot. And because we took the bus, we didn't have any tailgate equipment. Fortunately, my brother-in-law and some of his friends had a tailgate. They had camped there all week or whatever, and so we kind of raided, me and 13 others raided their tailgate so that we could have somewhere to sit. We actually ended up taking over somebody's tent. Ooh, they had some shade, and we needed some shade. So game kicked off at 8 o'clock, and it was really a lot of fun. it did not go the way that we had thought it would. We were up 14-0 for a good little while there and ended up losing. It turns out that, well, I don't know. I don't know if I want to say that it turns out, but it felt like it was a game that was like favored towards Tennessee. Like, we were just participants. It was supposed to be a neutral field game, and it ended up feeling more like an away game at Tennessee. But it was still a lot of fun. And we broke records. So there was 156,990 people in attendance. I don't know how exactly they got that figure. I'm assuming from tickets scanned. But we beat out the Michigan Big House by like 40 some odd thousand people. It was cool. The way that they did the seats is that Tennessee got half of the bowl and Virginia Tech got the other half of the bowl. So you could see like a clear division of where the Tennessee fans and where the Tech fans were. That was cool. Let's see. Some other cool things that happened. Jennifer Nettles sang the national anthem. Lee Greenwood was there, and he sang God Bless America, which was like, it gave me chills. I mean, I like, that song makes me emotional on any given day, but like Lee Greenwood singing it live in front of me, and along with 150 some odd thousand other people singing it, like, it was just out of this world. It was so cool. I'll grab a sip of my tea. I don't think I've shown you guys this mug. This is the Starbucks You Are Here collection, and this is Michigan. I didn't get this. My mom got it for me the last time she was home, and it makes me happy. Oh, you can barely see there. The inside of it is like green apple green. I love this one. Like I said, we lost. It was over before it was over, if you know what I'm saying. We left early, and like, we don't ever leave games early, but we had to get back to the bus so that we could try to get out of there as quickly as possible. And, you know, it wanted to beat the hysteria of 156,000 people exiting one space at one time. So we got out of there as quick as we could. Oh, some other cameo appearances, Frank Beamer, D'Angelo Hall, who plays for the Redskins, Michael Vick, Peyton Manning, who else is there? Bunch of other people. It was cool. It was a cool thing. So anyway, so we got on the bus and we got back to Richmond at about 7 the next morning. And the charter bus was super comfortable on the way there. On the way back, it was not so comfortable because everybody's trying to sleep. Like, on the way there, you know, we're all like giddy and excited and talking and socializing with people, and on the way back, everybody just wants to sleep. There was a very limited sleep, which is probably why I got this, because I might have slept a total of 2 hours, but like in 5-minute spurts here and there. So yeah, that was interesting. So let's get to the stitchy stuff. First and foremost, I've got my Q&A. So let me go ahead and pull up my notes here. I have a few questions from this week, and so I'm going to go through those with you. The first, I have a few here from Stephanie Messenger. First of all, she wanted to let me know that her sister-in-law also authored the Let the Sky Fall series. And that one, I've also known about that one. Admittedly, I was going to look up Shannon on Goodreads after my last video to see what other works she had done, and then totally dropped the ball on that. But I have heard of Let the Sky Fall. It was actually one of my best friends who reviewed it on her blog, and she is Andrea at the Overstuffed Bookcase. I'm going to shamelessly plug her her blog as well as her channel here on YouTube, because last week she posted her very first video to YouTube, and it is sort of like a run through of her bullet journal that she uses for book blogging and how she uses it for book blog. And it got me super inspired to where I probably, maybe, spoiler alert, started a bullet journal that I am developing. It's not done yet, so it's, excuse me, it's nowhere near a point where I can share it. But nonetheless. Anyway, so I am going to link her book blog, which is excellent. The designer for her book blog actually designed mine as well. Gotta love Ashley. And then I'm also going to link her channel, because if you're interested, not only does she talk about book blog stuff, but she also talks about reading stuff and how her journal is used for her reading. So anyway, long story short, I have heard of the Let the Sky Fall series, but I haven't checked it out yet. Okay, she also wanted to know if I use the Millennium Frame. Yes, I do. You can actually see it there. I'm not going to show you the project just yet, although you can probably already guess what it is, especially if you follow me on Instagram. But anyway, yes, I do use the Millennium Frame. I have 2 stretcher bars and 2 side stretchers, or 1 set of side stretchers. So my first Millennium I got from Danny for our 3-year anniversary, maybe even 2-year anniversary. I think it was our 2-year anniversary. And it is 24 inches is the stretcher bar. And then last year I ordered the 30-inch stretcher bars to try to fit some bigger projects on there. So yeah, love the Millennium. I haven't bought an Omanic or the Estonian version, I guess, but I want to, just to try it out. I know a lot of people say that they're very comparable. Stephanie also asked, how do you store your DMC floss? Okay, I'm going to take a sip here so I can talk through this. Okay, so Stephanie, I'm not sure if you refer to my DMC outside of my projects or my DMC inside of my projects, because I do have 74 WIBs, most of which use DMC. So I'm going to talk through both of those options. So the first is my master. So I work in lengths. I've said this a few times on my channel before. So I have DMC in a master set that I pull from. So my master set is in just the standard, is this a DMC? It is. It's a DMC box. I get these from Michaels, is where I got them from. And then I do store them on bobbins. I prefer the plastic bobbins. And I use a Sharpie. I write the number in the corner, and then it's also written rather larger here in the center, underneath the thread there, so that when it runs out, I'm not looking at this going, I'm not sure if that's an 8 or a 3. See what I'm saying? Now, obviously, I know that 303 is not an actual color, but there are some of these where I'm like, I'm not sure. So I write it a little bit bigger there on the center. Many of my bobbins are DMC bobbins. However, I have a few. Oh, well, that was convenient. I have a few of these from Hobby Lobby, and I think that their line is Yarnology. These bobbins are fantastic. They feel kind of strange, I'm not gonna lie. But, so the top, there's no etching, there's no like DMC insignia, there's no line for you to write on, so you have, whoops, sorry about that. You don't have a limited space to write on for that. So I'm a big fan. I really like them a lot. And they have been tested on my drill, because I do drill lined. This one was. think that wound up pretty good. So yeah, really like those Yarnology bobbins. Those are good. Now, I am not a huge fan of a bobbin system because when you get down to the bottom of a skein, like this one here, my 741, you see it's kind of running dry. Let me pull this off here and unravel a little bit. You see how kinky that is? I don't like that. I really don't like the kinkiness. Not a fan of the kinky. So I don't love that, but it is the most space saving. I can slide these four. I have four holding my master set, and I can slip them under my bed. So that's that. I have another box, the DMC box, that holds my extra skeins that are already wound on bobbins. So for instance, I think I have 6 skeins of 924 wound on bobbins. The other 5 are in that box, way back there. And then I'm going to insert a picture here. If I have extra skeins that are not wound on bobbins, I have them in baggies, in a drawer, in my dresser, in this closet behind me. You store stuff where you can, right? Each baggie holds one chunk of the DMC line. So we're talking 900s, 3700s, etc., etc. So that's what you're seeing there. There's a bunch of baggies in there with some skeins tossed in, and they are divided up by hundreds grouping, I guess. The extra skeins are listed on my DMC or on my Xstitch app. So if, let's say, I run out of 310, I can look on my, if I run out of 310 out of my master set, I can look on my Xstitch app and say, do I have any 310? Yep, looks like I've got 6 skeins. So I remove one skein from that list, go grab it out of my extras, and put it in my master set. My master set is almost a full set. I think I'm 2 or 3 colors short. So yeah, pretty close to a full set. I don't have any of the new colors from like 2 years ago, but other than that, I've got them all. So there's that. Now, if we're talking about how do I store threads for my projects, so I have a few methods. So I'm going to go over a couple of them. Let's see, for instance, one of the most popular ones that I use kind of all the time is these rings. So it's a craft ring with either floss pack or floss away bags. I have a mix of both. I have an index card that I have trimmed down so that it fits the bag. And then in the corner I have the brand. I have the symbol for the project. And then the DMC number. So this is what I use more often than anything. And then on the back you can see there's my length that I've cut. And on the front is a thread that I've used some of, but I want to make sure that I grab that one first when I need this color again. So that's how I store on those. That method might be the most popular, but it's not my favorite. My favorite, and if I ever win the lottery, I'm going to have a million of them, are these Paco thread organizers. These things are a godsend. So what I do, when you get a Paco thread organizer, you get a pile of these little cards here, and they're double-sided, so you can use them. You can use them twice. And so I will, as best I can, draw the symbol in the center with a Sharpie pen. The reason that I'm particular about a Sharpie pen is that You can use fine lines with it, and it's permanent, like it's not going to smudge. And then I write the number on top. So that's that. And like I said, this is a godsend because you just stick your needle in, pull the thread out, good to go. And there's no flipping through a bunch of cards. You just scan through the symbols. Okay. Sorry guys, my nose is itching. I don't really have a choice in the matter. Okay. And then one of the other methods that I use that is kind of a new to me. It's new to me because it's a pre-purchase thing rather than something that I've made. But it is these Loran project cards. And so if I'm using 20 colors or less, excuse me, I'm so sorry guys. If I'm using 20 colors or less, then onto this project card it goes. And this you can also stick your needle in to pull one thread out, which is kind of nice. I probably should have warned that there would be lots of breaks in this video because coughing fits. Okay, so let's get back to it. So that's how I store my DMC floss. Now, let's talk about after I finish a project, what do I do? This here. So this I got from Staples a couple years ago. It's not perfect because it's not really the right size. So there's a couple of things going on in this box. So I'm going to pull out the irrelevant bits for right now. Okay, so here's what we've got. These are all of the threads that I've got left over that I have organized in numerical order in here. Now this is why I don't write the name of the project on the card anymore. You can see that I did for these in the past. However, I have gone away from that. Let me see if I can find one. There we go. So there's this one. So I had some leftover DMC 164, like the tiniest little bit left. There's nothing on the back. And so they go into this, so that the next time that I kit up a project, I will scan through here first, so that I can pull, let's say I need 164. So bam, I've already got a bag with a card and a little bit of thread in there. So good to go. Now, one of my older methods for organizing my WIPs were these handmade project cards. Usually I can look at these and know what project it was, but I cannot remember this one. This is an old one because I was using just a regular pen, and I haven't used just a regular pen in a while. Oh, this is from the butterflies that I did for my nieces a couple years ago, I think. Anyway, irrelevant. So I have these, and I have been very, very slowly pulling the threads off of these and putting them in relevant project bags, Flossway bags in that box. But it's a long process. I'll show you why it's a long process. Here's one. Let me wind that up real quick. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ain't that cute? Oh, there's more. There's another 5 more, so we're up to 12. This is going to take a while because all of my projects were done like this for the longest time. I found that I didn't like that method because the cardstock that I was using, if I pulled too tightly on the length, it would actually rip the hole. Let me see if I have an example of that. Not close at hand, but the long and short of it is I didn't like that method. This is from my Curl Up with a Good Book when I was storing thread on bobbins for projects. Hated that. And then these are from my afternoon in New York that I haven't organized through the list yet. Okay, so that is pretty much how I store DMC floss. Lots of different methods, lots of different places. It's not as seamless as I would like it, but it's what I've got for right now until I have the space and the funds for something more elaborate but not so complicated. So, okay. And then, okay, she had one more question. She said, Jessie, I wanted to know in your rotation, if you're supposed to stitch on something for, say, 2 nights, and something comes up that you're not able to stitch the first night, do you only stitch 1 night on that piece and then keep your rotation going? Or do you push the rotation out a day? Sorry if this sounds confusing. If it's confusing, Stephanie, then you and I are on the same wavelength, because not at all. Okay, so let's say, for instance, perfect example. My Faces of Fairy 201. I was to work on that from last Thursday up through yesterday. I was out of town or totally useless Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday, I got recording late, and then we went out to dinner with Danny's parents, and then had to get ready and get up super early on Saturday, so I went to bed early. Saturday, I was gone all day. Sunday, I was napping. I don't want to say sleeping because it wasn't like effective sleep. Or watching football all day. So there was no stitching done. But I just keep it moving. If I had counted those 3 days, if I had said, all right, I'm supposed to work on this for 7 days, then everything would get pushed back another 3 days. And I'm just not about it. Life happens, and I just keep moving through my rotation. If it's something that, like, let's say Persephone, it's Persephone week for me. So let's say something happens and I can't stitch a day this weekend, and I get to a point where I have like 100 stitches left of skin to do, I would probably stick with it for an extra day just to get that done. But it's dependent on the project, and it's dependent on the situation. So there's that. Sylvia E. Sanchez asked, where do you get your Anchor Black floss? I get it from 123 Stitch. They do stock some Anchor flosses. So yeah, that's where I get it. Okay, so the Prickly Crafter asks, have you read 4 by Veronica Roth? And the answer to that is no, I haven't. I do own it. So last week I was talking to you all about Allegiant, book 3 in the series. And this book called 4 is a collection of short stories. I believe it's narrated by 4. So it's the events of Divergent and Insurgent from 4's perspective, which is cool because, you know, kind of want to get into his head a little bit. I have it, like I said, but I haven't read it yet. And then, where did my notes go? There they are. The last one wasn't necessarily a question, but it was from Catherine Reid, and she said, true Hokies stick it in. And ain't that the truth? If you are a Hokie, then you know the stick it in chant, and if you're one of the Hokies that wanted to ban it, shame on you, because that was an excellent chant. Okay, so thank you everybody so much for asking your questions. I do very much appreciate it, and if you've got any more, feel free to leave them below, and we'll talk more next week. Okay, so let's start talking about actual projects, because we've been here for who knows how long, and I haven't actually shown any stitching yet. So we'll start with last week's WIP. My WIP for last week was Faces of Fairy 201. This is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artwork is by Jasmine Beckett Griffith. And let's see. This is what she will look like finished. And here's a preview of what it looked like the last time I showed it to you. I just had the first column done and then the first 2 or 3 blocks on that top row. And here's where I got to by the end of the week. Ta-da! So I got the majority of the top 2 rows done on page 1 here. And I'll be honest, I'm disappointed. But, like, there was no way that I was going to get any more than that done because I was sick and I've been sick. This is confetti craziness over here, and I did not have the brain for it. So, I'm pretty pleased with the progress that I did make. So you can see the little bits in her crown kind of coming in. Now my lighting is terrible today because it's really overcast, but I'm going to try to show you as best as I can. Ugh, I wish I had gotten that last block totally done, but I didn't. The little, I don't even know what they are, like the little ornaments on top of her crown are so cute, but like confetti Batman. So each of those spots that looks like it's black is a combination of 310, 939, which is that deep navy that you almost can't tell the difference between it and black, and 3371, which is so brown that you almost can't tell that it's not black. So dark. And then there's, like the random spots of color in there. There's confetti. But it's okay. I love confetti. I know, I'm really strange, but I really do enjoy confetti because it breaks up monotony. The background over here is pretty much monotonous. There's 2 or 3 colors, and you can see there it's patterned. Like there are lines of darker color on top of the lighter color background. So yeah, I really like the confetti. And I am, like I said, using the Heaven and Earth Designs method from Challenge 3. Really enjoying it. It's really great for these high confetti areas because I just stick it where it needs to go in the next block. So that's been good. And my fabric is 25 count antique white Lugana from Zweigart. So yeah, there's that. And so that will go away. I have a question for you guys. That actually brings up something that I've been debating, kind of. October. So my rotation week 2 is Heaven and Earth Designs week. Now, my question to you is, I have 2 options here. I can keep going on Faces of Fairy until I get that page finished, at least. Or I can keep going in my rotation. And the next project that I'm to work on is In This Moment by Jeremiah Kettner, if I'm following the rotation. So what do? I could end up working on Faces of Fairy through the rest of the year to try to get that page finished. Or I can put in a little bit of work on the rest of my Heaven and Earth Designs whips. I'm not sure what to do. So you guys, help me out. Let me know in the comments down below what you think I should do. Faces of Fairy until the page is done, or keep it rolling. Time to work on a bunch of different projects, so I'm putting it in your hands, America and beyond. I don't know. Cold medicine is making me a little loopy. I'm not on any cold medicine. That's just me, I guess. Okay. So then, now let's get to my whip for this week through Wednesday of next week. So my project is over here. Sorry, not as organized as I would like to be. So it is Mirabilia Persephone. this I am stitching on 32 count Tempest by Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. It's a linen. And we'll just grab her. So there's where we are. And so I am going to focus in on filling in all of that skin in her chest. And then I might see about doing her arm so that I can just knock out all of the skin and get that done. That is my next big goal for Persephone, I think, is to get her skin finished. So there we have it. I have done the tiniest amount of stitching here today. I think I did one strand, so just in that palest section there. So I'm not going to insert a before picture because not a whole lot of progress just yet. And my needle minder there is that same cameo Victorian skeleton zombie looking thing from Gina's Unique Boutique. And apparently there is something really cool to look at over there because they're both like transfixed. It's just a wall. Who knows? So there is my Persephone. And I am stoked because I'm going to get a solid week on her. Virginia Tech is playing Boston College this weekend, and I'm actually not going to the game this week. A couple of reasons. First of all, I'm sick. Second of all, trying to, save some money where we can, and so if we don't have to take Thor to the kennel for a boarding stay, and we can sell my ticket, a little bit. And third, my skin issues kind of perpetuating. It seems that most of it is gone, hence the reason I've got makeup on today. But I mean, like, the skin of my arms is still unhappy. So, this weekend, Danny's going to be gone. When the husbands are away, stitchers will stitch. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's see what I can get done. Maybe I'll finish Persephone this weekend. Who knows? Crazy things. So that's it for the stitching. Next week I will start going through my week 4 because holy moly, today is the 15th of September. How are we halfway through September already? That's just strange. That's crazy. Can't even believe it. So then I don't have any haul today. I have some on the way, but I don't have any today. Oh, books. Yeah. So I am in a bit of a reading slump. I'm having a hard time finding the motivation to pick up a book, which is strange because normally when I'm sick, that's all I want to do is curl up with a book. But I've just been putzing for the last 2 days is what it feels like. So I'm in a reading slump, and I haven't picked up my September books yet, but I'm going to later this week. This week is over like tomorrow, but anyway. And then as far as the Stitchers Book Club news is concerned, because today is the 15th, today is the last day to get in your suggestions for our October books of the month. The theme is horror/thriller. Thought it was mildly appropriate considering the fact that at least in the United States we celebrate Halloween in October. So yeah. So if you want to make a suggestion towards what we're going to read, go ahead, join the group, and put in your suggestions. The polls to select the books will go up tomorrow. So there's that. And that seems to be about everything. Like I said, I've got a couple more videos to upload if I can get my nose to stop itching. And if I can stop coughing. That'd be great. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support and for all of your well wishes. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.